So all of the things that you guys see as signs, the same kinds of things are happening with your person. I want to talk about being authentic to yourself, being who you are. And I don't only mean from the human experience side of things. I mean, tap into God, the God within, the God without. When you first wake up, this isn't going to be a video of exactly like what affirmations to say and this and that, but you do want to step into that power the moment that you wake up, and you want to maintain remaining in that power throughout the day as much as you possibly can, because it's like we were brought into this experience intentionally with amnesia. God created itself through us, through the human egos and these beautiful, perfect human forms that we all are. You're limited in your perspective of how you actually can see all of it, because all of it is already done and it's all created already. And when it comes to things like your specific person, the relationship that you want, money, health, different careers, different inventions, things that you want to actually bring into the world, that is literally those desires, the desire itself is the promise of the wish fulfilled. So the desire in your heart of hearts, in your soul, in your core is already done. It's already created. It's the only reason why it feels so it's so magnetic to you. You are, no matter what, when you try to move in a different direction, you're always pulled back. That's because that is already done. And it's the highest and best, the most ideal life for you, so to speak. But we can either accept it or we can go on to a different trajectory if we choose to just live through our ego limiting perspectives. That's your choice. It's always your choice. When it comes to understanding how to shift into the timeline and into the reality and into being the highest and best version of yourself in this human form, you're going to go through a process, possibly, I won't put a limiting belief on you, that when you are ascending into being who you truly are, you're empowering yourself. Again, do the mindset work from the moment that you wake up. There might be a period of time where you could experience all of your fears, worries, doubts, all of the memories of the things. Well, they said this, they said that, he said this, he said that. I'm not being treated the way I deserve. They didn't give me the promotion. I'm not getting paid what I want. The thing that I really want in my heart and soul doesn't make money. All of that stuff is part of the human experience, but it's not part of the God experience. So you want to remind yourself when those limiting beliefs come up where you're kind of almost going into living from that small self. So you want to stop playing small and start just being who you actually were created to be. So see yourself from the God within you, from those eyes, that you are always cherished, adored, perfect in everything you say and everything that you do. The word worthy, the words good enough, don't even come close. You're exceptional. You are, again, magnificent. If you're not seeing yourself from that perspective, because especially when it comes to like with things with, say, you and your specific person, your partner, wife, husband, because that's who they are. So stop thinking of them just as a specific person, just as an SP. Stop thinking of them as an X, okay? If you're basing your self-worth on something that was said or done or experienced with your partner, husband, or wife from when you were in a different self-concept, would you please recognize that that's the only reason why those things were experienced? Those were your manifestations from that old limiting version of you. There's multiple, infinite versions of you and infinite versions of your life. But if you are carrying yourself in being the version of yourself who feels lonely, who thinks of themselves as single, who thinks of themselves as always getting passed over, never being seen, never being heard, not being acknowledged, recognized, appreciated, cherished, loved, or claimed, then what does your reality have to show back to you? What it's going to have to show you experiences where the divine messengers in your reality have to just tell you, yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're always going to be right, no matter what you're believing. When we manifest things with our specific person and we are in, see, sometimes you guys are you're not realizing who you actually are and who they actually are to you. And if you have some form of relationship with them in the 3D, in some cases, not in all, but in some cases, keeping that relationship in the 3D the way it is sometimes what does prevent you from being able to get in your power and stay in your power. Because you're in your mind, you are the wife, the partner, they're your wife, partner, husband, whatever. But then in the 3D, because you're maintaining this friendship and you're playing the role of the friend, then you go from being who you truly are to playing your small self again, who I truly am to playing the small self again. And this thing that happens can oftentimes drag you down. So I'm not saying that everybody needs to do this, but in some cases, having the relationship the way it's currently is in the 3D, in some cases, it's actually better for the future of the two of you guys to maybe not communicate so much or not spend so much time together. I have a client that she has been doing phenomenal for a certain amount of time. I won't say the amount of time because you guys get too caught up with the whole time thing. She went from not seeing any evidence in her reality at all to it was just incredible even to watch the unfolding when the unfolding first started that I'm going to say her soulmate, her wife, started to want to spend more and more time together. When they would watch TV at night, they would both be under a blanket and their person always had to maintain contact, like have her leg against the other one's leg or have the foot against my client's body. They would always plan dinners together. The wife always wanted to work out with my client. Like just there was this unfolding and there was a third party that had been manifested in the situation. And my client's wife, soulmate, had for a little while a picture of the 3P in their place, which my client had full access to because that's the level of intimacy that she had manifested with them, the closeness. And as it continued to get deeper and deeper, it even got to a point where when my client's wife would go away, then she would get evidence of through conversations that while she was away, she kept thinking of my client. So many things. I mean, there's months and months of incredible and amazing movement, even to the point, which I love this, when if the wife asked my client to, could you go over and do this or that at my place? I can't make it back because I'm at work. My client would go in and see the picture. And I remember one time, I think she had somewhat of a conscious thought of, geez, I understand everything, how I manifested this, but I just wish that this picture would just go away. And this is how precise the mirroring always is with our person. One day when she went back in, the picture was gone. And then another day, I think it was back up. And anyway, the conversation that got mirrored back with her SP, her partner, her wife, her soulmate, they ended up telling my client something along the lines of, I really hate even having it up. But if I have it up, I'm going to hurt their feelings. And to me, that's just a perfect example of my client not owning it 100%. Right. But what a perfect reflection that is, where she said, I just wish she would take this down. And then she reflects back, I don't even want to have this up. And then that little bit of, but if I take it down, it'll hurt their feelings, but I don't even want to have it up. That's just that little extra bit of my client not realizing this is her responsibility. This is up to her to consciously make the decision to allow them to be together. the reason why I brought this up is because the preciseness of the mirroring, I don't know if you guys actually realize how precise it is. If you are, whatever you're maintaining, this is my truth, this is how I feel, it is in the exact same moment. That's how your person is feeling. So if you're constantly questioning from your human small self, I don't think that I'm worthy enough. I don't think that they notice me. They don't choose me. They choose somebody else. What are the thought process that has to be happening? Is that thought processes, whatever, that has to be happening within your person's mind? If you're thinking that and everything is instant and instantaneous, what do you think what is your mirror soul mirroring back? I know you guys love to hear like what's happening in my person's mind while I'm manifesting them. And I'm trying to say it's the same. It's the same. So when you're wavering, they're wavering. I had another client that I just thought of that I met with a week or two ago, and she explained to me how she was having a lot of inner movement and inner shifts. So while she's having that inner movement and inner shifts, what's happening in her person's life is the person's probably having all these thoughts and memories and maybe seeing her name and listening to songs and maybe reminiscing about things that they did together. Maybe the person is seeing her car all over the place. So all of the things that you guys see as signs, the same kinds of things are happening with your person. So then she kept tripping herself up because she kept not maintaining enough focus and discipline and trust, which is fine. It's just a stage, but you have to be willing to not mess around with your 3D anymore and keep checking the socials and keep checking to see if things are working, because who are you being when you're doing that? Anyway, when she fell into, again, under the illusion that first she was accepting that I am everything that I mean to them, everything, excuse me, that they mean to me, I mean to them, she got communication. So as soon as the communication is starting, then she gets in her, like, she goes like, whoa, like she starts to get nervous about it. And then she goes into the questioning again. So then everything goes quiet, but she's not recognizing it's going quiet because I'm going into the wavering again. So if I'm going into the wavering again, so are they. So instead, catch yourself when you're going into the wavering and do what you need to do to get back in your end of being together. Claim it. You have to claim being together. You have to choose it and accept it and then maintain and stay stable with it. So anyway, back to what I was saying with sometimes the unwillingness to drop the relationship as it is in the 3D when it's hindering your progress is just delaying the progress more. That's all it's doing. It's kind of eroding your trust. So what I suggest is get in your power and be completely authentic and true with your feelings, but you don't do it from a way of then making demands. Don't get me wrong, I've messed up in my 3D with my mirror soul, but I do know this, when we've gone in and out of our own stuff in the 3D, if I wasn't hearing exactly what I wanted to hear because of fears, and remember, if I'm fearing something, so is my mirror soul. It's that simple. Even if it's as simple as if I'm fearing that I'm going to lose myself because the love is so deep, if I'm fearing being completely and totally consumed because the love is so deep, then my mirror soul is going to feel that too. But anyway, in the 3D, I still remained who I truly am. And I said the truth. Well, I'll do the best that I can, but I love you and I want to be with you. And I want to be with you for the rest of my life. So I'm not going anywhere, no matter what. That version of you is confident, strong, and secure. I have a story that was super cute that came in my mind this morning. And I don't know why, but maybe some of you guys need to hear something like this. You want to know what happens when you drop your walls and your barriers and you just allow yourself to feel safe and secure in the connection with your person, the connection that literally never goes away. It's impossible to go away because you guys are truly one already. I remember when I was in this moment of forgiving my mirror soul 100%. Like just, it was something I was working on for a certain amount of time. And I was going through the forgiveness and then owning it and then forgiving myself also for all the things that I did and said. And the creation, all of the things that I manifested through it. And then when I got to this point, I remember the moment, the day when I completely stepped right into that power of trust and knowing who we actually are. And I was imagining us kissing and being intimate. When we ended up communicating, let's just pretend, I don't remember what day it was. Let's just say that it was a Friday, 5 p.m. That happened. It's not at all, but just for the sake of the story. When we talked on the phone and we kind of compared notes of what I was going through and they told me what they were going through, the exact moment, that exact moment, the Friday 5 p.m., even though it wasn't really Friday 5 p.m., where I completely stepped into that completely, not, I didn't force myself. I wasn't pretending to be in trust. I wasn't pretending to forgive. I truly dropped it all because I understood everything in that exact same moment in their reality. They suddenly were sitting there and they heard me say, "Hello, I'm here." And all of a sudden, I was there and I was sitting on top of their lap. And then the same thing that I was kind of feeling in that intimate moment that I was imagining, and I wasn't forcing myself to imagine it. It was very natural. It was us. It was who we are. The same exact thing that I was imagining after I said, "Hello, I'm here." And then suddenly I was there. That was exactly what they started just feeling and imagining. This isn't like a thought transmission thing. This isn't like um, people like to think of it as remote seduction, but even the word remote suggests different places, right? You guys are one. So the I'm here, but they're out there, just that's not, just stop thinking about it that way. You guys aren't separate. So the moral of the story today is drop the 3D, stop thinking from just your small human self, the ego, step into your God state of realizing that there is no such thing as separation, that your person is your person. That is the role that you guys were created for each other to love each other. So trust in that, maintain that, and be grounded and stable in that and in your power as much as you possibly can. And when you feel yourself slipping out of it, get back in it. It's just all inevitable. So if you need me, reach out. I love you so much. Please do affirm down below that you know that all of creation is done and that you and your person were created for each other. And reach out to me if you need me. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.